Welcome to KX on the Go. I'm Amber French. Following another shooting by ICE agents in Minneapolis this weekend, people in Bismarck showed up shoulder to shoulder to hold a vigil to remember Alex Preddy, the U.S. citizen who died Saturday. The vigil started at 1 p.m. and lasted for about an hour. This is the same exact spot where protesters showed up 2 weeks ago, protesting the actions by ICE after Renee Good was shot and killed, also in Minneapolis.
I don't know exactly what happened yesterday on the ground, but I do know my government tried to sell me a narrative that makes zero sense and then tell me that when Americans show up to demonstrations armed, that makes them terrorists. I think a lot of it is just we're Americans. We are raised, if we're raised properly from a very young age, to have a feeling of solidarity with our countrymen. So whether it happens in Minnesota, Florida, Hawaii, it's our business.
The three-day special session wrapped up on Friday. Governor Kelly Armstrong signed several bills into law tied to rural health care. Lawmakers passed 5 bills impacting the state's rural health care transformation, but did fail to pass a bill that would have provided universal school lunches to every public school student in North Dakota. The legislation focused on rural health care included the presidential fitness test in North Dakota schools, expanding pharmacists' ability to prescribe medication, and the creating of a rural health care transformation grant. Lawmakers also approved the sale of the Ray Richards Golf Course in Grand Forks. That vote happened because the land was owned by UND. While the Universal School Lunches bill failed, the governor said his office will be working on a solution when they submit their budget before the 2027 legislative session. The Minot City Council voted against extending the city's contract with Story Valley Animal Shelter. Friday's vote was close, 3-4. The vote was scheduled to happen earlier in the week, but was delayed because of questions about financial transparency and the shelter's board president's rejection of a month-to-month contract. The shelter will continue to provide animal pound services through February 28th, and the city of Minot has plans to find a new partner to take over the city's impound services. Vanessa?
Good Monday morning, everyone. Of course, we have a warm front coming into play here. That's going to bring our temperatures closer to average for this time of year. But back behind it, we have a little bit of a backdoor cold front. Thankfully, none of this expected to provide any precipitation for our neck of the woods. But this backdoor cold front come tomorrow, bringing our temperatures a hair cooler compared to what they are expected to be this afternoon. Looking at the radar, you can see a few flurries up towards kind of the Belcourt and Rolla area. Now a lot of that has moved due eastward, but we're going back and forth between the clouds and the clear skies this morning. That'll likely be the case throughout the course of the daytime today here. Temperature-wise, a welcome return to a lot of locations above zero at this point in time. Up to 8 degrees in Minot, 9 for Williston, 12 degrees for Bowman, the warmest spot on the KXCAM network right now. Finally, up to 0 degrees in Bismarck and 3 degrees for Harvey. Matagoshi area, you're still at 2 below zero. Wind chill wise, because of that strong flow of southwesterly winds, bring our feels like temperature values, especially out towards the east, between 15 and almost 30 below zero. So it is feeling more like 32 below zero in the Ashley area right now. Feeling like 20 below in Harvey, 20 below for Rugby, and even close to 20 below out towards Rolla. Out towards western North Dakota, not as much of an influence just based on that flow of winds, only marking feels like temperature values into the single digits below zero. As we go through the rest of the daytime today, even though we're expecting our air temperatures to get closer to average into the teens and 20s, note these feels like temperatures remaining below zero, especially out towards the east here. Because of the presence of that warm front, it is still going to likely feel like the teens below zero out towards the Bottineau area by late this evening. That'll continue on, and as we look ahead to early tomorrow morning, still likely marking feels like temperature values into the teens and 20s, even up to 30s below zero up towards the Turtle Mountain region. Again, not as much of an influence the further west you are located just because of the presence of the southwesterly flow of winds here. Even as we head closer to tomorrow afternoon, still marking wind chill values well below zero. Precision cast through today really just going to highlight that mix of sun and clouds here and there throughout the course of the daytime, a battle between the two, if you will, and that'll likely continue on even as we head into your Tuesday. So you can look at some clear skies possible out towards south central areas, and then as that cold front comes into play, we're going to see those clouds kind of filling back in as we head into Tuesday evening, back into more of those clear skies. So overnight lows tonight going to dip down closer to the single digits below zero, but certainly a welcome return to these values considering what we've seen through the last several days with our overnight lows being well below the 0 degree mark. But reminder, as we just saw, those wind chill values going to bring those feels like temperatures even chillier than that. As we head into tomorrow, daytime high is going to be into the upper single digits and the lower teens as a result of that backdoor cold front. But as we look at Williston's next 5, still going to be marking high temperatures into the teens, possible near 20s, above 0 as we get closer to the end of the week. Dickinson, your next 5 reflecting that similar temperature pattern. In fact, quite a few days where we have that possibility of temperatures above the 20 degree mark. Here's Minot's next several days. There will be a few days as we get into the middle of the week where we'll see those air temperatures into the single digits above 0, one of the chillier spots on the map here, back into the upper 20s and low 30s. Models going back and forth, but we could see another system going into the weekend, so we'll keep you updated on that. And finally, Bismarck, your next several days here, still reflecting high temperatures into the teens, also possible near the 30s as we get closer to the end of the week. Not many chances of precipitation between at least now and the middle of the week. They remain low for now, but I'm looking forward to those 20s and 30s for the weekend, Amber.
Me too, Vanessa. Count me in on that as well. Thank you. For everyone here, this was KX on the Go. I'm Amber French.